Christopher Wallace, better known as the Notorious B.I.G., rose from the tough streets of Brooklyn into the defining voice of East Coast hip-hop by rewriting rap with a unique style that was strong enough to have rarely been seen within the industry by any other artist. With his memorable debut, Ready to Die, Biggie amazes with personal struggle and generational dreams. But it all came with a high cost, from street hustling to the East Coast-West Coast rivalry. The story is intense and gives an insightful view into the brilliant yet tragically short career of one of the most important hip-hop talents. Christopher Wallace, born on May 21, 1972, would grow up to make Brooklyn, New York, a defining part of American music. Raised in one of the city's poorest neighborhoods, he was brought up by his mother, Violetta Wallace, a Jamaican immigrant and preschool teacher, who worked tirelessly to give him a better life. Yet, Brooklyn was no easy place to grow up in. Since his childhood, Wallace's surroundings exposed him to the many struggles facing his community. By his 10th birthday, he was already known as Big because of his size, a nickname that would later grow into Biggie Smalls and, eventually, the Notorious B.I.G. Despite attending good schools and doing well academically, Biggie was drawn into the streets around him. When he was 12 years old, he started to sell drugs, which he hid from his mother, who usually had 2 jobs and hence never suspected anything. Eventually, Biggie dropped out of high school, further pulling him into the criminal world. Arrests became part of the story on his way to fame, including a stint in jail in North Carolina on drug charges. These experiences would shape his understanding of survival, struggle, and life on the streets, all of which would define his music. But it was also on these same streets of Brooklyn that Biggie found his talent in rapping, something which would soon be his advantage and way out. What set Biggie apart was his innate skill as a storyteller. A demo tape made with DJ 50 Grand eventually reached DJ Mr. C, who introduced Biggie to the Source magazine's Unsigned Hype column, a well-known launching pad for emerging artists. That quality drew the attention of young Uptown Records executive Sean Puffy Combs. Seeing Biggie's potential, Puffy signed him to his label and later took him to his new label, Bad Boy Records. Guided by Puffy, Biggie took off, and his music started reaching far beyond Brooklyn. Then came the year 1994, when Biggie's debut album, Ready to Die, was released. The album wasn't just an introduction to his voice, it was a window into his world, a world where survival often meant a line between life and death. Songs like Things Done Changed and Gimme the Loot showed the harsh, dangerous life Biggie had dealt with, while Juicy, his breakout single, balanced that harshness with his dreams of a better life. However, this album wasn't all about his life. It reflected how Black people lived through their struggles, a portrait of life and its challenges stretched amidst economic and social pressure. Ready to Die went platinum in no time and established Biggie as the voice of East Coast hip-hop. Biggie was a storyteller. The vivid picture he painted with his words of struggles and triumphs in life was delivered with an honesty that was rarely heard in hip-hop. His rhymes captured the brutality of street life and his humor, resilience, and determination. Yet, with fame came its pressures. Complicated by his rising celebrity status and rumors of affairs, including his highly publicized relationship with rapper Lil' Kim, Biggie married singer Faith Evans in 1994. Living in a world of fame, fortune, and complex relationships, Biggie was often surrounded by controversy. Arguably, however, no single point of controversy would define Biggie or prove as dangerous as his friendship with fellow rapper Tupac Shakur. Initially, Biggie and Tupac were close. They had mutual respect for one another and spent time together, developing their respective careers. This friendship would go sour in November 1994 when Tupac was shot and robbed in the lobby of Quad Studios in Manhattan. Biggie claimed to be in the building at the time of the shooting but said he knew nothing about the incident. Tupac did not believe this and stated that Biggie and Puffy knew about the attack ahead of time. This incident fueled the growing fight between East Coast and West Coast hip-hop, one that was intensified both by the media and industry figures on all sides. Biggie, becoming the face of the East Coast side, became increasingly seen as an adversary by those on the West Coast and particularly by Tupac and Suge Knight's Death Row Records. This rivalry kept growing from a personal break into a full cultural conflict. The songs, interviews, and award show confrontations only escalated the hate. The feud was no longer limited to studio taunts. It became a violent, all-consuming feud that drew fans and artists alike into different camps. In 1996, Tupac released Hit 'Em Up, a brutal diss single that, among other accusations, called out Biggie for not only turning his back on him but also stealing his style. As the song spread, it added more fuel to the already explosive East Coast-West Coast feud, showing that this rivalry wasn't just musical. Biggie would deny any link to Tupac's shooting incident. He attempted to tone down the feud, but it was hard to take seriously, given the intensity of the situation. Meanwhile, Biggie's career continued to rise amidst the increasing tensions. His lyrics, style, and charisma made him an icon. But this rising fame brought increasing scrutiny, with rumors of ties to the criminal underworld. The Biggie as gangster rapper image led to a more complex public perception, with fans and onlookers alike wondering about the line between Biggie's real-life persona and his character on stage. The stakes of his public persona grew even higher when, in September 1996, Tupac was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas. News of his murder sent shockwaves through the hip-hop world, and suspicion quickly turned to the East Coast, with some speculating that Biggie or his associates were involved. Those rumors were never proven, but the damage was done. The East Coast-West Coast rivalry had a death toll now, and Biggie realized his life could be in danger. In early 1997, Biggie went to Los Angeles on a promotional tour for his new album, Life After Death, and to show he had no ill will against the West Coast. Some people claim this was his attempt at mending fences and bringing the highly destructive feud to a close that had devastated the hip-hop community. This only slightly reduced tensions, and the threat of death still loomed over him. Biggie attended a Soul Train Awards after-party on March 8, 1997, held at Los Angeles' Peterson Automotive Museum. Later that night, Biggie and his entourage showed up in their SUV outside the venue and prepared to make their way back to the hotel. But at a red light stop, a black Chevrolet Impala pulled up next to them. In an instant, the driver of the Impala rolled down his window and fired several shots into Biggie's car. Biggie was hit by 4 bullets. He was taken to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center immediately but was pronounced dead on March 9, 1997, at 1:15 a.m. Biggie's murder shocked the world, leaving fans, friends, and family devastated. He was just 24 years old, and it seemed like a tragic end, just the way Tupac had gone a few months earlier. But unlike in Tupac's case, Biggie's murder investigation faced many roadblocks, and his killer remains unknown even today. Several theories have been put forward, from gang rivalry to police involvement and even involving people within the music industry. And yet no one theory was ever proven for certain. The question of who killed the Notorious B.I.G. remains open, a painful mystery that continues to haunt hip-hop. Weeks after his murder, Biggie's album Life After Death was released. The record was an instant favorite, topping the Billboard 200 as the lead single, Hypnotize, and More Money, More Problems took over the top of every single countdown. It has also become a symbol of Biggie's skill and legacy, with his words being among the most sampled and quoted lines ever. His influence would continue to grow years later, as individuals in all genres quote and sample his raps. Biggie's contributions to hip-hop weren't just musical but cultural, and he became an icon of resilience, ambition, and brutal honesty about street life. His music left a legacy wherein people still feel the impact of his life. His words are still inspirational and speak not only for him but also for many who faced similar struggles. The tributes to him range from murals in his native Brooklyn to a biographical film and several documentaries. He was inducted posthumously into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2020 for the indelible mark he left on music and culture. Biggie's story is one of remarkable talent and tragic loss, a life lived with passion and ambition. From Ready to Die to Life After Death, he captured the complexities of his world and the struggles of countless others. Although his life was cut short, his impact continues to inspire generations and influence hip-hop. If this look into Biggie's life has been compelling for you, be sure to check out our biography of Tupac Shakur, the other legend whose life story is equally haunting. The link is in the description. Don't forget to drop your thoughts on Biggie's legacy and hit that subscribe button for more deep dives on music's most iconic figures.